Hi friends, I'm Abby and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking through some of my plans, or my reading plans for the month of May. So May, I'm going to continue the energy that I had in April, which is mood reading. So mood reading May. That works, you know, a little bit of alliteration there. Well, sort of alliteration there. Mood reading May. And then maybe I will bring a game back for June. But I feel like I'm still in the mood reading spirit. So mood reading May and all the fun that that entails. So I do have a couple of plans or some things in the works. So the first of that is that me and Joanna from the channel Joanna Souza, we are going to be buddy reading some Mafia romance together because I think we're both in the mood for some Mafia romance. And it's not really a genre that or sub-genre that I know that well. I don't think, I might have read a couple, but I don't feel like I really know what's going on in the Mafia romance sub-genre of romance. I generally stick to the more like, if I'm reading romance, I generally read like the more contemporary romances or the fantasy romance. I don't really go down the dark romance path, but it's always good to try things out and get outside of your comfort zone. And I feel like this is going to be quite fun. So we have a couple of options, or from our research, from looking at the Mafia romance recommendations videos, this is where we have been drawn to. And so we're thinking we might read some Sophie Lark. There were two books that like stood out from hers. One was Ivan and one was Brutal Prince. So if you have a preference with Sophie Lark, then potentially those two. And then JT Gessinger, she has a book called Ruthless Creatures that has also interested us. So those are a couple of our like Mafia romance options. If you have any recommendations for us, then please let me know, because we'll definitely research it and look into if that would be a better fit for us. But those are what we currently have in our like Mafia romance pot. Then I will be continuing with the Daughter of the Forest, or the Seven Waters series by Juliet Marillier with Childhood Prophecy. This has been a buddy read with Sam Fish, and then it's been extended to with Evie, Sarah and Yolene, and this is the third book in the series. We all collectively loved Daughter of the Forest. Son of the Shadows, the second book, has had a very mixed response. Like a very, very mixed response. But so I'm very intrigued to see how we all feel about this one, because I'm very intrigued. I'm very intrigued to see where we all fall with this one now, especially after, myself reading and seeing the reactions to Son of the Shadows, that I feel like it's going to be an interesting time. I don't think we have a live show date. Yet for Son of the Shadows. But if we do, I will link it. Definitely intrigued to see where this series goes. I believe that this was originally written as a trilogy, so I think that this will wrap up the overall plot that's been overarching through the other two books, but it was continued into a 6-book series, so I don't quite know where those 4, 5 and 6 books go, but definitely excited to get back into this world. And I feel like this book just wants to be on every single TBR that I've made this year. I really do. I think maybe that's what it needs to be. It just needs to be in every single TBR that I ever make, because will I ever read it? Will I ever finish this book and actually read the book? And that is The Dragonbone Chair by Tad Williams, because I have still not read this book. I read the first chapter back at the very end of March, and I've not kept going with it in April because it hasn't fitted my mood, because I haven't really been reading like epic fantasy. So it is still unread and still here, and I still definitely want to read it and definitely give it a try. Will it ever happen? I really hope so. And will May be the month of the Dragonbone Chair? I don't know. I don't know what's happened here. I really don't know what's happened here. Normally, I'm not normally this bad with not reading a book, but I don't even know. This book, this book, I know that it's like an older epic fantasy following a kitchen boy, Simon, and the human king has recently died, and there is a long dormant evil that's coming along. So there we go. And I guess it's going to fall to Simon to pick up the mantle or like save the world in some sort of way. I'm very interested in reading this. It's just not been happening for whatever reason. So hopefully it can be May. If not, you'll see it on my June TBR. And as I'm thinking of doing a game in June, maybe I will actually be forced to read it. So there are all of the more like set plans, if you can really call them that. I then, like last month, have just a whole load of sequels, like sequel potentials that could be read in the month. I don't know if I actually did that well at reading too many sequels this month. I've read a few. I've read something. I have been reading, I promise I have been reading this month. I have. But I feel like there is a lot more work that I can keep doing with my sequels and keep working on them because there is a lot of them still to be worked on. So I just have a stack here. I thought that would be the easiest way to show them because I already talked about them in April's TBR. So there's no need for me to like really reiterate so much what the plans are, what these series are about. Oh, here we go. Here are some potential sequels that I could read in May. Some of these I've only owned the first book, so I've put the first books on here for the top 3. So Guild being a fantasy romance. The second book I think is called Glint or Glean, I can't remember which way around that is, but the second book in this, which is a fantasy romance. The second book in the Dandelion Dynasty by Ken Liu. I feel like should be time for me to read this so that it doesn't go too long, and I do want to get this series like I do want to be in time and in line with the 4th and final book coming out in June, so it would make sense for me to get to the second book in May. The Women's War by Jenna Glass. I really like this and would like to continue on. This one's getting a bit ridiculous as well because Blood and Honey by Shelby Mahurin. I reread the first book in September to keep going and I haven't kept going. So this one. And of course, The Behemoth, Oathbringer by Brandon Sanderson, the third book in the Stormlight Archive. I, once again, do want to get to this. I do want to get to this one. And I feel like it's time. It's so very big, so very epic. And especially when I've already got the Dragonbone chair on Heroes of Potential, that I feel like that would be a lot to read in 1 month. And that would be a lot of very epic adult fantasy all to read in 1 month, particularly at least in this past month, I haven't really been drawn to reading epic adult fantasy. I have been reading adult fantasy, but more on the like, I don't even know. Have I really been reading adult fantasy? What have I been reading? I have been reading, but what have I been reading? Not epic adult fantasy. Oh, I've been reading romance maybe. Yeah, I just haven't really been drawn to or reading that much epic adult fantasy. So I don't know if putting both Dragonbone Chair, The Wall of Storms and Oathbringer all in 1 month, that would just be way too much. Way too much epic adult fantasy. So maybe if I pick like one of those or even a couple of those might be a bit much. But we will see. I don't think there's anything else. Obviously I have still 3 shelves of like unread physical TBR, so who knows, I could end up picking something else off there. I am really trying not to pick up any more starts of series, and I haven't started any series in April, so win for me there. And I want to continue with that energy of not starting any series and just keeping going with what I've already started. So there is that. But potentially I might pick up another standalone or something else if something else is calling to me. We will see. So there are some plans for the month of May. Let me know what TBR game you might want to see me do in June, if you have any recommendations or any that you would really like to see me try after the havoc that was March's TBR Star Hop. So let me know if you have any suggestions for me, if you want something like that where it could go really wrong, or if I should do something quite nice, just let me know. And thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my future videos. Bye!